and welcome to St. Lucia Magazine, your weekly news program bringing you the latest updates on key developments in healthcare, education, infrastructure, the environment, and the economy. I am your host, Kishma Seri. In this week's edition, the Ministry of Health is closely monitoring global increases in new COVID cases, and St. Lucia hosts a two-day gender-based violence workshop. The Ministry of Health, Wellness and Elderly Affairs is closely monitoring the SARS-CoV-2 variant, NB181, which has been categorized as a variant under monitoring by the World Health Organization, or WHO. The WHO reported a threefold increase in COVID-19 cases between April 14th and May 11th, 2025, with the NB181 variant detected in 22 countries, including Europe, Asia, and North America. Chief Medical Officer Dr. Sharon Belmar-George provides more detail.
The Caribbean Public Health Agency has shared a watching brief with member states on the COVID-19 NB181 variant of the SARS-CoV-2, which was categorized on May 23, 2025 as a variant under monitoring. This classification is an indication that this newly diagnosed variant is prioritized for monitoring to assess its characteristics and possible risk to health systems. According to the World Health Organization, from the period April 14th to May 11th, 2025, 91 countries have reported 91,583 cases of COVID-19, which represents a threefold increase. Widespread transmission of NB181 is observed with higher case counts and hospitalizations. To date, NB181 has been detected in 22 countries, including Europe, North America, and parts of Asia. Detailed surveillance data is being processed to assess its full distribution. Although relatively new, with limited information, current data indicates that NB181 does not cause more severe illness than the present circulating variants, and the global and Caribbean regional public health risk at this time is assessed to be low. Early information shows that NB181 variant exhibits increased transmissibility compared to earlier strains of the virus, indicating that it spreads more easily from person to person. Based on the limited information available at this time, the public is advised on the following. Wash hands frequently or use hand sanitizers. Avoid close contact with people who are sick. Do not attend social activities if you are feeling unwell with respiratory symptoms. Visit your healthcare provider for management of your signs and symptoms. Consider wearing a mask in public, especially if you have flu-like symptoms. Maintain general healthy habits to reduce the impact of viral illnesses. The Ministry of Health will monitor the global situation closely, increased surveillance and testing, the sensitization of healthcare workers, monitor hospitalizations due to respiratory illness, and provide information to the public as it becomes available.
The Director of Consumer Affairs, Wendy Frederick, has refuted claims of an empty government supply warehouse. Frederick assures that there are no current stock or supply concerns at the warehouse. We hear more in this report.
The Ministry of Commerce would like to clarify a recent unsubstantiated claim made that there is no flour available at the government supply warehouse, and that this has led to closure of bakeries. This statement is patently false and misleading. We wish to assure the public that the government supply warehouse is well stocked with flour and all other essential commodities. There is no shortage, and we are unaware of any bakery closures due to a lack of supply from the government supply warehouse. The ministry continues to monitor, of course, inventory levels closely, and we can confirm that deliveries are proceeding as scheduled. We take these types of public allegations seriously, and we want to remind the public to seek verified updates through official channels. Spreading false claims may cause unnecessary panic and undermine public confidence in systems that are functioning effectively. So we are definitely assuring the public that we have a well-stocked warehouse. We have rice, we have flour, we have sugar available, and there are no low stock levels.
Waterways Caribbean, in collaboration with the Soufriere Regional Development Foundation, has officially launched the Flowing Clean project on Wednesday, 5th June 2025 at the Soufriere Primary School. Coinciding with World Environment Day, the launch introduces a community-based initiative focused on restoring the Soufriere River through local stewardship, education, and practical environment action. We hear more from Nadia Kazabo.
Waterways, in collaboration with the Soufriere Regional Development Foundation, will be launching a project titled Flowing Clean, Communities Taking Responsibility for the Restoration of the Soufriere River System. This project is being funded by ProCarib and Jeff Small Grants Program. We are endeavoring to get residents, communities, groups to take ownership of the Soufriere River for us to clean it up. The health of the Soufriere River directly impacts the health of our population. We know that the water quality has been declining over the past years, and it is a matter of time before we get hit by a major hurricane and residents will have to return to the Soufriere River. We want to be proactive in this project to endeavor to clean up the Soufriere River, restore it to recreational standards, so that in the event that we have to return to this water resource, it will be safe for everybody to use.
This is St. Lucia Magazine. Coming up, the Ministry of Health warns the public of Saharan dust. Stay with us.
Trans fats are unhealthy fats found in some foods. However, it can also be formed from our cooking habits. Did you know that reusing oil when frying can create trans fats? Or that using healthy oils for frying foods at high temperatures can also generate trans fats? Yes, it can. Avoid such practices to protect your health.
This message is brought to you by the Nutrition Unit of the Ministry of Health, Wellness and Elderly Affairs.
St. Lucia hosted a two-day gender-based violence in emergencies training workshop on May 26 to 27, 2025, in order to strengthen national emergency preparedness and gender-based violence response. The event, co-convened by UNFPA, UN Women, and the Government of St. Lucia, aimed to build national capacity on gender equality, social inclusion, and GBV, particularly in emergencies and climate-related disasters. Onika McCoy tells us more.
In a significant step towards strengthening St. Lucia's emergency response systems, key stakeholders from government and civil society participated in a two-day capacity-building workshop aimed at tackling gender-based violence in emergencies. The workshop, held on May 26 and 27 at the Harbour Club in Rodney Bay, was co-convened by the UNFPA, UN Women, and the Government of St. Lucia in partnership with the Caribbean Development Bank. Liaison Officer D. Jane Gibbons of the United Nations Population Fund for Barbados and the OECS highlighted the critical role of collective action amid the growing threat of climate-related disasters.
So the increased frequency and severity of climate-related disasters, such as the still recent Hurricane Beryl, combined with the persistent threat of gender-based violence, particularly in emergencies, demands strengthened, timely, and survivor-centered responses. Data consistently shows a spike in GBV cases, making our work here more urgent and essential. At UNFPA, we are guided by three transformative goals: ending the unmet need for family planning, ending preventable maternal deaths, and ending gender-based violence and harmful practices. And this workshop falls within the third of those strategic transformative goals.
Director of Gender Affairs Janie Joseph adds, with global data showing a troubling rise in gender-based violence during emergencies, this moment presents a timely opportunity to prioritize gender mainstreaming and social inclusion in crisis response.
The composition of participants I see before me here, it reflects a shared understanding of the value of coordination and of all those sectors in response to GBV. In the case of St. Lucia, We also included in the National Interagency Task Force for GBV the education sector, recognizing the key role that the education sector plays, both in terms of response and particularly in terms of prevention. It does take the collective effort of all sectors, and I commend the health sector for validating this.
Chief Medical Officer Dr. Sharon Belmont-George underscored St. Lucia's commitment to strengthening systems that provide a timely, coordinated care to survivors.
In St. Lucia, as we work towards the attainment of universal health coverage, we are cognizant that this global target is not possible without universal access to sexual and reproductive health services. The UNFPA supported service assessment of the essential services for women and girls subjected to violence in St. Lucia, and this was, I believe, in 2019, indicated that the existing services meet the criteria for availability and accessibility.
The training focused on gender-based violence in emergencies, social inclusion, and gender mainstreaming. It also marked the validation of St. Lucia's clinical management of rape protocol, a major milestone in GBV response. During his remarks, the Minister for Health, Wellness and Elderly Affairs, Honorable Moses Baptist, emphasized the government's dedication to reaching the most vulnerable and ensuring support is delivered with dignity and compassion.
When communities face the devastation of natural disasters, pandemics, or humanitarian emergencies, the vulnerabilities of women, girls, and marginalized groups are heightened, as we know. The threat of gender-based violence intensifies, making it imperative that we strengthen our response mechanisms with urgency and with care.
The GBV training workshop marks a critical step forward in strengthening St. Lucia's health and emergency response systems. With healthcare providers, Ministry of Health staff, and key national stakeholders now trained and sensitized on gender equality, social inclusion, and gender-based violence, especially in humanitarian settings, the country is better positioned to deliver a more coordinated, timely, and compassionate response to survivors. From the Communications Unit of the Ministry of Health, Wellness and Elderly Affairs, I am Onika McCoy.
The Commonwealth Caribbean Association of Integrity Commissions and Anti-Corruption Bodies officially launched its 11th annual conference on Monday, June 2nd, 2025, at the prestigious Landing Resorts and Spa in Gros Islet, St. Lucia. Claudia Monlouis tells us more.
Under the compelling theme recommitting to fighting corruption effectively and sustainably in the Caribbean, the conference brought together regional stakeholders, integrity commissions, and anti-corruption agencies to renew their collective pledge towards greater accountability, transparency, and good governance across the Caribbean. Deacon David Popo, chairperson of the St. Lucia Integrity Commission, underscored the relevance of the theme in today's climate. He emphasized that the fight against corruption must be both strategic and enduring, highlighting the association's evolving role in shaping ethical leadership and institutional resilience in member states.
I also thought that we cannot be talking about corruption, fighting corruption sustainably, if one does not seriously ponder upon the historical antecedents that we have, especially for us as peoples who were once colonized. And therefore, in a real sense, the theme speaks to the ongoing process of decolonization of the mind, of our spirits, and a reclamation of some of our ancestral spiritual values of justice, love, and selfless service.
Delivering the keynote address on behalf of Prime Minister Honorable Philippe J. Pierre, who was unavoidably absent, Cabinet Secretary Mr. Auguste Degazeau reaffirmed the St. Lucian government's unwavering commitment to anti-corruption efforts. Mr. Degazo emphasized that the government is actively working to strengthen the legislative framework and implement rigorous due diligence processes to prevent and combat corruption at all levels.
The government of St. Lucia is committed to tackling corruption at all levels and will continue to support and encourage strides made in fighting corruption regionally and internationally. In 2004, St. Lucia enacted the Integrity in Public Life Act, Chapter 1.19. The Act, which came into force on January 1, 2006, established the Integrity Commission and aims to prevent corruption, regulate conduct, and preserve integrity in public life.
As a testament to these efforts, St. Lucia received recognition for achieving a 59% score on the 2024 Global Corruption Perceptions Index, published by Transparency International. This milestone reflects growing national progress in promoting integrity and accountability.
The Ministry of Health, Wellness and Elderly Affairs is urging the public to take precautions due to the persistent presence of Saharan dust on St. Lucia, and it is posing health risks, particularly to those with pre-existing respiratory conditions. The dry and hazy conditions often result in respiratory complications such as dry cough, sneezing, nasal irritation, throat discomfort, and allergic reactions. Dr. Jenny Isaac Louisi tells us more about the dangers.
The Ministry of Health, Wellness and Elderly Affairs notes the weather report from the St. Lucia Meteorology Services dated 27th May 2025 in relation to the plume of Saharan dust. Saharan dust creates hazy, dry air conditions resulting in difficulty to breathe for those with asthma or other respiratory illnesses and allergies. Some of the effects of Saharan dust includes, but is not limited to, dry eyes, watery eyes, nasal irritation, sneezing, dry mouth, mild cough, throat discomfort, and flare-up of allergies due to additional irritants in the air. As such, the Ministry of Health advises persons with asthma, sinusitis, allergies, COPD, and other respiratory conditions to be vigilant for the signs and symptoms of flare-ups and to seek medical attention at the nearest wellness center or medical clinic if respiratory symptoms or difficulty breathing is experienced. The public is advised to limit outdoor activities and to ensure properly fitted face masks are used when outdoor. Further updates will be provided as new information becomes available.
World Environment Day highlights the growing threat of plastic pollution affecting ecosystems, communities, and bodies. Microplastics are found in drinking water, food chains, and human tissue. Senior Environmental Officer Emerson Vitalis dives into the focus of this year's theme, Beat Plastic Pollution.
Today on World Environment Day, we join the global call to action under the theme, Beat Plastic Pollution. This year's focus highlights a critical and growing threat to both environmental and public health. The pervasive presence of plastic waste in our ecosystems, our communities, and even our bodies. Plastic pollution is more than just a litter problem. It is a serious public health concern. Microplastics have been found in drinking water, food chains, and even human tissue. The production and improper disposal of plastics contribute to air and water pollution, clog drainage systems, harm marine life, and create ideal breeding grounds for disease vectors. In St. Lucia and across the region, we must strengthen our collective resolve to reduce plastic dependence, enhance waste management systems, and promote sustainable alternatives. Legislation, education, innovation, and behavioral change all play vital roles in this mission. As health professionals, we are committed to protecting human health through advocacy, regulation, and community engagement. We support a life cycle approach to plastic management, from responsible production and consumption to safe disposal and recycling. More importantly, we support the transition to a circular economy, where materials are reused, repurposed, and kept out of our landfills and oceans. Let us use this day not only to reflect, but to act as individuals, institutions, as a nation. Every plastic bottle avoided, every plastic disposed of properly, every reusable bag used, and every cleanup effort organized brings us one step closer to a cleaner, healthier St. Lucia. Together, let us beat plastic pollution for the environment, for our health, and for future generations.
Stay tuned. We will be right back after a short break.
Mommy, I need some hair oils for my TikTok tutorial. It's a popular brand.
But I think we can find something similar that's made locally.
A local brand? Oh, wow!
There are many items produced in St. Lucia.
Wow! Auntie Julie made this product?
We have a full range of agro-processed products. The list is long, plus global award-winning products. Yes, we have your favorite jams, jellies, snacks, and of course, quality health and personal care products. Let's keep it in the family.
Can you believe your cousin designed that label?
Every small purchase makes a huge difference.
Hey guys, this was made in St. Lucia.
Buy local every time you go shopping.
Shop smart, shop local, love St. Lucia.
Welcome back. The Department of Education, Innovation and Vocational Training in St. Lucia is launching the 2025 pre-kindergarten screening exercise from June 16th to June 18th. The exercise evaluates children in their final year of preschool who are set to start kindergarten in September. We hear more in this report.
We are the world. We are
The annual initiative of pre-K screening is organized by the Ministry's Special Education Unit and targets preschoolers in their final year ahead of their transition to kindergarten in September. The screening introduces young learners to structured, age-appropriate activities aimed at assessing key developmental and learning competencies essential for early childhood education. Dale Saint-Just of the Special Education Unit tells us more.
What we do is a screening activity, and that means basically that we are going to have a few activities with these children. As far as they are concerned, they are fun activities. They are essentially playing with a teacher. But during that activity, the teacher is observing and putting the child through a number of tasks that will give them an opportunity to demonstrate skills that are typical for a child who is that age. What we are looking for is to ensure that these children have the readiness skills for starting kindergarten.
Saint-Just also explained the rationale behind such ventures and the benefit that it holds futuristically for children.
There is a whole body of research that shows that when children start with even a small gap in their achievement, if that gap is not known and attended to, it widens as the child goes through school. So a child may have maybe speech and language challenges or may not have learned some of the necessary skills for pre-academic presentations. These small gaps, these small delays, if they are not attended to immediately as the child enters kindergarten, there is a widening gap. And so what you may have is a child who might have a little delay, who may end up down the line appearing as a child with disabilities.
The PKSE also serves a broader developmental purpose, determining if children have accessed essential health services, including immunizations. Parents and guardians will be guided to appropriate services to ensure their child is fully prepared for school entry. The program, introduced in 2016, has become an integral part of St. Lucia's early childhood education framework. The Babuno and Foasa Wellness Centers will be temporarily closed for 6 months from June 6, 2025, to facilitate rehabilitative works under the OECS Regional Health Project, which is funded by the World Bank. Primary health care services will be redirected to the Laguerre Wellness Center, while dental services will be redirected to the Grosile Polyclinic and the Laclery Wellness Center. Home visits and outreach services will continue. The Lage Wellness Center will open on Monday to Friday from 8 a.m. to 4:40 p.m. and on Saturdays from 8 a.m. to 12 p.m. The ministry has arranged free shuttle transportation for residents and apologizes for any inconvenience caused. The ministry thanks the public for their patience and cooperation in improving the healthcare delivery. And that brings us to the end of this edition of St. Lucia Magazine. Special thanks to all who contributed to this production: the National Television Network, the GIS team, and the communication officers across our various ministries. Thank you for joining us on NTN, Channel 122, and on the official social media pages of the Government of St. Lucia. I am Kishma Serrier. Until next time, stay informed, stay engaged, as we look ahead to more positive developments in the week ahead.